struggling a little bit, and then they finally kicked in the gear right when December came. So as long as Pat Mahomes is quarterback and they got Andy Reid, I'm not really. I think they'll be fine. But big weekend that just passed as far as college football is concerned. Colorado TCU was the big game ticket. TCU went into the game as 20-point underdogs. TCU came away with the victory. They've been showing so many clips of these other podcasters and talking heads across every network for the last 2 weeks before this game saying Deion doesn't know what he's doing. They've been taking clips of Deion saying, oh, he's just talking. He's making a lot of one-liners. He doesn't know what he's doing. 45-42. Not only did they compete with TCU, there was a point, I think, in the third quarter where TCU was actually ahead. They had taken the lead away from Colorado, but they just kept coming. They kept at them. Shedeur ends up throwing 38 for 47, 510 yards. That's a school record.
First game,
school record, a 90 quarterback rating. We saw Dylan Edwards. I guess he reminds me a lot of Isaac Pacheco. I can't really call him a running back. I can't really call him a wide receiver, but they had four receivers with over 100 yards in that game. 4. So I mean, Dylan Edwards had 5 catches. Travis Hunter had 11. Xavier Weaver had 6. Jimmy Horn Jr. had 11. Travis Hunter played, they said, 100 and something snaps in that game, defense and offense.
The whole game.
Made a phenomenal pick. I love the clip of Deion after Travis Hunter makes that pick in the red zone, and you could clearly tell. And some of the guys on the next day were saying, like, you can tell that Travis Hunter is good, but that play right there was coached. Like, that was coach telling Travis Hunter to trust his eyes, watch the shirt. When the receiver goes in the inside, you got help there. They're going to throw it. They're going to run and they showed in the same game that the Buffaloes ran the same exact play, but they executed it better and got the touchdown with Dylan Edwards. It was wide open in the end zone. But I love that Deion. It seems like, and look, Prime he keeps receipts. He kept all the receipts because he was waiting after that post game, and the days after he's still been talking. And I'm just gonna play this clip real quick of Coach Prime.
Give me, what about me would make you think that I care about your opinion of me? Your opinion of me is not the opinion that I have of myself. You ain't make me, so you can't break me. You didn't build me, so you can't kill me. You know what? God established me, so you ain't nothing you could do to me. I've been him. I've been a difference maker, a game changer. I've been that guy. So what would change? Not a darn thing. I'm not even playing the game, and you got an opinion of me. I love it, but I don't care. And I wish the world thought like that. Youngsters, if you're out there right now, do not give a darn what opinion people have of you, long as that opinion is not consistent of that of yourself. You be you. I'm not playing to make you feel good about me. I already feel good about me. I'm good. Message for the youngsters out there and the old school, not old fool.
Oh, my bad.
Nah, I mean, Deion, I think a bigger topic somebody brought up a good point about, the league at large, college football at large. And at the end of the day, Deion is telling, his team, even after the win against TCU, they still got, USC coming up. I got Oregon coming up. So they still got some teams they got to go ahead and beat. They may lose one of those games. But he's, pretty much telling them, like, just as much as the media is hyping y'all up and we're ranked 22 now. And, as soon as if we lose that first game, guess what? They're going to immediately start trashing us, saying, we knew they weren't that good. We knew this. We knew they were this and that. So I'm pretty sure Deion's keeping them humble and keeping them, right. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure, what from the videos he has done in his locker room, he's told him, he's like, it's not that they don't want him to succeed, Deion. A lot of the coaches at large, we saw Lee Corso this past weekend, college game day before the game, saying he didn't like the way Deion was doing things and think about Deion was doing it the wrong way. And a lot of coaches in the Pac-12 and the ACC and other coaches from other conferences have said the same exact thing. And former coaches have said the same exact thing. Because what they don't want, let's be real, let's be honest. What they don't want is former NFL players becoming head coaches. It's not what they don't want that.
Yeah.
We've seen guys, let's be fair, these guys coming through the ranks of, their grandfather was a head coach or their uncle was a coach. They became a scout, and then, they were on they were assistant on the head coaching team at 21, 22 years old. And then they went through the different, smaller schools, and all of a sudden they get a big, coaching job. Look at the Lincoln Rileys of the world, guys that haven't actually done anything, but they seem to always keep getting big coaching gigs, no matter where they go. Chip Kelly hasn't done anything. They keep going places and getting big jobs elsewhere. But here comes Deion, who's an established, one of the best players of all time in NFL history. Not only can he played, obviously, but he can coach too. And they're one of the podcasters were made to try quoting Deion saying a couple weeks ago when he said, we got to build a culture of winning there. You got to build a culture, of just got to build the right culture there to do things. And he was like, I don't have to build no culture. He's like, the culture is winning. We win football games that will create a culture of winning. He's like, I don't have to create nothing. He's like, if I get the best players as college football states, we're going to win. Look at Georgia. Look, Kirby Smart is a good coach. Don't get me wrong, at Georgia. But you can't tell me having the highest number of 5-star recruits every year, that also Alabama the same way, having the highest number of 5-star recruits every year, doesn't give you a major edge against most of your competition. Like, let's be real. Especially in the NFL, we can see the parity and things like that. But in college football, it's a very, very clear line between those schools, Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, and then every Notre Dame and everybody else in TCU. We all know TCU kind of got lucky last year. We all know they're probably not going to be back there this year. Do we know Georgia is when you see for the last 5 or 6 years, they've been calling the BCS National Championship playoff the Alabama Invitational for a reason. Alabama's in it every year because they get the top. It's not because they coach well; it's because they get the number one players from every state.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, Deion did what he had to do. Went and got in the transfer portal and got players in there. I think they said he only kept 8 or 9 scholarship players from last year's squad, but brought in his own guys. And, look, it's only been one game, but I think he's proven his point. And like I said, at the end of the day, guys like, Hugh Jackson, who's also in SWAC right now coaching college football. And, I think Eddie George as well. Please believe if this works this year, you can't tell me the other schools won't be looking at other Black professional football players that have retired who have a thirst for coaching and looking to put them in their programs. Because at the end of the day, let's be real, the people that are sending their kids to these schools are a little bit older than us, and we watch these guys play. We know these guys and their acumen and everything else. So you can't say that those parents, when they walk into those households, when they walk into that living room, oh, that's Eddie George, that's Deion Sanders, Michael Irvin, whoever, I don't know who's going to start coaching. But if this works this year, Deion's going to create a whole new wave, I think, in college football that I think that a lot of these old guard coaches don't necessarily going to like.
Yeah, it's that was a great game to watch. I think a lot of us gave him more of a shot than what obviously the national pundits might perceive him or perceive that team to be. I always thought they had kind of a shot, but it does say a lot to come out against TCU, and it's no knock to TCU because TCU didn't play a bad game at all. Mm-hmm. But I think you should give Deion a little bit more credit because of that. They was able to hang with those boys. It was like just punch after punch after punch, and they just stayed with it, and they made the 1 or 2 plays on defense that pretty much determined the outcome of the game, and that was all coaching. he was saying after the game, like that's pretty much what he was preaching the whole game. Like he knew what type of game it was about to be. And it's going to be one or two defensive plays that's going to probably play the difference in this game. And Dion, man, he just went the unconventional route. Like he just pretty much put all the college football on notice at this point. This is not what they wanted to happen. Based on the way he constructed his team, how I think as far as returning players, I think it was like in a single digits damn near. It pretty much flipped the entire program around from the players to the coaches. And based on how he constructed that, and I know we're only talking about week 1, but you know, you can see if you watch that game from start to finish what that program is about to what the program is about to do. And I'm not just talking about wins or losses, but they've officially like arrived, and now people are going to be looking at Colorado a certain way when they come play them. Like it's going to be a whole different situation. And college football just, I mean, obviously the money side of it is a good thing because now we got another powerhouse possible team. And even if they're not a powerhouse, and even if they aren't winning as many games as we think they're probably going to win, they're still going to draw attention because people love. They love the players. They love what Dion's built over there. They love the culture that he's creating over there. So, you know, other schools aren't going to love it so much when it's time to play them. But I just think it just speaks to Dion. I mean, he told y'all what he was going to do. He came out, he competed. Those guys that he got on that squad are damn near NFL ready in another year or two. Travis Hunter looked like he can put on a Ravens jersey right now and put in work. I mean, it looked incredible. Like the fact that he's able to play two ways, and a lot of people were saying, like, but how long is he going to be able to do two ways and this, that, and the third? And you know, they're looking at things to nitpick Dion on, allowing him to do like stuff like that. Travis Hunter, man, he's a dog. If you watch any of his high school games, like this is just what he was born to do. Like this is nothing. I mean, he's literally walking in Dion footsteps damn near and doing it, looking a lot better at that age than even what Dion was looking like. So I don't really have no doubt about their strategy and how they constructed the team, their strategy or how their game planning is. It seems they're gonna be around. They're gonna be around, and I wouldn't be surprised if they do win a ton of games this season. But even if they don't, they've already showed me enough week 1 to know what we're about to get from these guys. So it's going to be a whole lot of criticism because, like I said, they're going to nitpick. I'm hoping they don't turn into, you know, a situation where a player gets in trouble or something, and then, you know, because you know, with those situations, especially with a team with 75-80% black players. And successful black players, but not only successful, but to the point where they're successful, but not the way y'all want them to be successful. Just based on how they, you know, Dion had everybody in the portal and coming to the team, like that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. So I'm just hoping that if issues arise, they don't start to pile on and start to criticize and find reasons to, you know, break the squad apart. So outside of that, I think I love what I saw. I'm gonna continue checking for these Colorado games every week. I mean, that's gonna be my first look. Who's Colorado got? And if you look at the schedule, we're gonna have some real good games. I mean, I'm hoping they're real good. But based on what we've seen in that first week, I don't have no reason to doubt that. So shout out to those dudes. They hung in there with TCU, knocked them out of there, made some amazing plays along the way. It didn't look like a fluke whatsoever, and I'm just looking forward to seeing those guys every week at this point. I'm back heavy watching college football now. I kind of fell off a little bit the last few years, but I mean, if you haven't been watching it, they definitely giving us a reason to get back into it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Like, you know, I feel like Dion and Colorado, they're bringing like this whole new energy to college football that wasn't there. You know, like I found myself glued in to my iPhone, into my TV, and you know, I was all ready for this game. And it felt like, you know, Black Twitter was all up in this game. You know, people that probably don't watch college football. So I feel like, yeah, they brought this whole new energy. But as far as the game concerned, I'm just gonna say it like this: Colorado should have beat them by a lot more.
Yeah,
like Colorado was
drop
definitely
touchdowns.
yeah, they were definitely the more talented team. I mean, I think the only thing was like there were drop touchdowns, and there were some fluky misses where Colorado could have broke this game wide open. And the fact that they didn't allow TCU to gain confidence running the ball. And I think Colorado's only weakness is up front. Like,
Mhm.
defensive line, they're small. Offensive line, they're not the biggest, but they do enough. But I think their skill guys like go up against anybody in the
Oh,
country.
man, yeah.
Their skill guys match up with anybody. So, I mean, this Colorado team is legit. Like they probably should have won this by 2 touchdowns. But like I love what I saw. Like Deion brings this energy. People question him as a coach. I know this week they're questioning him like what happens when he has to make adjustments or he has to have a close game. He just had a close game.
Just had it.
How's-
Yeah, in the
how's he
middle
gonna
of the game.
Yeah, how's he going to manage the clock? Like, you know what I mean? So all that criticism, we'll see how he does. Deion will be fine. Like Deion, the thing people forget, like he truly knows the game of football. He knew it and he played it that way. He played as athletic as he was even smarter. So I
Mhm.
think all that'll translate over. Deion will do a great job. But this team, Shiloh Sanders, he had a couple missed tackles, but that kid is a baller at safety. The one holdover, number 43, who was on the team last year, he
Mhm.
fought to stay on the team. He played well. Travis Hunter, like, I'm gonna talk defensively. He made so many plays on defense, like defended passes, being in the mix, the interception. The interception was so athletic because I thought that was a touchdown, and here he comes
He
just
comes out of
flying
nowhere.
over,
Mhm.
flying
nowhere.
over it, picking that thing off.
Yeah.
That was a huge play. Like that was a huge play. And then offensively, I've never seen a two-way player that can impact the game on both sides like that. Deion could impact the game on both sides. Charles Woodson could impact the
Mhm.
game 3 ways. But Chris Gamble played both ways, and he was a Heisman candidate. But Chris Gamble, the most he'd ever had receiving in college was 6 receptions for 87 yards. Travis Hunter, 11 catches, 119 was it?
Yeah.
Something crazy.
You know what I mean? I don't think I ever saw that with Deion. I don't think I've seen that with Charles Woodson. I mean, I've seen the return touchdowns with some receiving. I've seen stuff with Desmond Howard, but I don't know if I've seen it like this. Like truly 11 receptions and then going back playing lockdown D, get an interception. I've never seen that in a game. So
Yeah.
we're seeing something special. We're seeing something historic. And then we go to Shador. Shador, like this kid is like legit. I didn't get to see him against like, I'm not saying like in the HBCU world you don't have top talent, but the game is different. So to see him play like this, I mean, I see the arm strength there. The accuracy is insane. Where he puts the ball is insane. I think that's his gift to the NFL right there. He's just so accurate. He's so smart. The kid is poised. He doesn't get happy feet. Like he moves in the pocket. Like this kid is for real, for real.
Mhm.
I mean, this team is just exciting. They're bringing new energy to college football, and a lot of people are talking about like where they're going to finish, when they're going to lose. Honestly, it doesn't matter because I know they're going to bring it every single week. And if they're not competing for the playoffs or to be a top 10 or top 15 team this year, they're going to be next year. So
Yeah, and you think like as well, like they said when he was at Jackson State, they ran him more of an option type offense. Like he scrambled a lot more. Like he kind of ran the ball a lot more. He in this game he threw it 510 yards. Like he did get sacked a lot. He got sacked like I don't know a few times.
That's really the question on
Yeah,
their
he-
team is like how
he
will
got
they
sacked
hold
a lot,
the
yeah.
line hold up?
But I mean, the wide receivers, the routes they were running, they were all wide open. Like they were running, like they were shaking the guys off of them. Like now, Travis Hunter, I know he can play on both sides of the ball, but they're going to have to kind of pick and choose their spots. I'm pretty sure he's going to play primarily as a cornerback. I just know they can't play 100 snaps every game with him during the season. They're going to wear that boy out. Like they're going to have to. I think that was more of Deion showing this kid is like, nah, I'm telling you, he's legit. Like, don't think that because he went to an HBCU that he's not legit. And I think we noticed that too after the game. In the post game, they asked Shador, they asked the other guys that came from Jackson State, that we came from Jackson State and we still came out here and competed with FBS players. Like, we're playing the FCS. Y'all saying, oh, y'all weren't that good. Y'all just played at Jackson State. And we came out here and beat y'all. We beat the second place team that were running up for the national title last year. So I mean, I'm just saying, like, a lot. There's some of these kids that go to HBCUs, because either their parents went there or legacies and stuff like that. But these guys can play. Yeah. I think that helps. Deion's helping put them on the map as well going forward. And look, Deion's got a primetime game this week coming up. Another big noon kickoff game against Nebraska. Look, I think, like you guys said, I think Deion and this Colorado team is adding the Hollywood element to this season. I think for the last few years, to be quite honest, has gotten kind of dull because it's been Alabama and Georgia every year. Alabama, Georgia. Everybody's gotten sick of it, to be honest with you. Everybody's Alabama, Georgia. Everybody's like, oh, Colorado. It's a new team coming out of nowhere. They got a celebrity head coach. He actually talks. He doesn't like Nick Saban and them. Like, they don't really talk to the media. They don't really say much. Deion's like, bring the cameras in here. Bring them in. Bring them on in. I want all the cameras. Yeah. I want all the microphones on.
Not to mention these guys. Just after that one game, I think it says Shedeur Sanders, that NIL money.
Oh, it's like $5.2 million.
It's went up, increased like over 2.3 after that one game, and that's week one.
These kids gonna make money, like you said, Travis. Like, imagine like if they make it to a big bowl game this year, right? The transfer portal. You think transfer portal was bad this year? You think the transfer portal was bad? Deion gonna have an all Madden team out there playing for Colorado. He's going to have some blue chippers that immediately committed to certain teams like this, their freshman year this year, and they're going to want out and go play at Colorado. He's going to have guys fighting, trying to get to Colorado if he makes a bowl game this year. Yeah. It's just because, again, people want to, like, when you're around coaches and a program like that, and especially, look, you look at these guys, if, these wide receivers, especially the skill players, these guys go pro, in the next year or two. I mean, like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if you see other colleges who are now starting to join the SEC, the ACC. The schools are coming over now. Start looking. Hey, maybe we ought to stop looking at these, coaches that his nephew, is on the assistant team. Let's go look at some of these retired players real quick and see if they want to coach.
I don't know if y'all noticed too after that game. It was quite a bit of those TCU players walking up to Deion having some conversations. So don't be surprised.
That's what I'm saying. Deion, where he goes, USC. Like just imagine that USC game. Deion Prime in LA against Caleb. Like, I mean, come on.
That is insane.
Come on. That's prime time right there. They might move that game to 8 p.m. They might make that a prime time football game
on ABC prime time game of the year. They're going to paint it as game of the year.
Deion is already in week one is changing the entire landscape of college football and how it operates. So I love it. I can't wait. I'm watching every week. If I can watch that game every week, I'm watching the Colorado football game every week. And I'm a Penn State fan. But I'm watching Colorado too. I'm watching Colorado this week. So moving on. So before the pod even started, we were going to say that Nick Bosa and the 49ers were at an impasse, but an hour before we started, Nick Bosa gets the biggest contract for any defensive player, more than Aaron Donald, and he's getting $170 million deal with 122 guaranteed. That's close to 70% guaranteed. So he got first. He's getting paid more than T.J. Watt. Look, this man made 18 and a half sacks last season. He was Defensive Player of the Year last year. Kind of surprised it took this long. Like the week of their first game, they go play the Steelers in Pittsburgh. They got the deal done. I'm assuming with Trey Lance stuff falling apart, you're not really paying a quarterback money right now. So that we got to pay someone, right? I guess they figure. Brock Purdy, even if he is good, he's not going to be due for another contract for another, 3 years. So by the time Bosa's money comes to an end, they'll have enough money for if they need to go get a quarterback in free agency or draft another guy. So they figure we got to spend the money, might as well give it to him. So props to him. I guess he's earned it, definitely. That's the Defensive Player of the Year, almost 20 sacks last season. They needed him for this weekend, and they want to start the season 0-1.
Yeah,
and from a Ravens fan perspective, we need them to beat the Steelers. Just let them start 0-1. Let's just get that off break, beat the crap out of them.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they were hoping Nick Bosa was going to sign that deal today.
Yeah. I know I'm glad he signed that just off of that alone, just to since they're going against the Steelers. Yeah, let's go ahead and take care of that business. But he I mean, he absolutely deserved it. I can't knock it. I mean, he's their best player on defense by far. And like you said, they're not really paying big money to any QBs at the moment. So, and he had the leverage. I mean, what else was they going to do? I mean, you let him go, your whole season changes at this point. We on week 1, and you've been, so like, what's going to be your game plan with him not being on the field at that point? So, yeah, I mean, shout out to him. That man just got the crazy bag, and at this point, with the other guys that's looking for deals, I think you said Chris Jones and all those guys. Who knows what they're going to be looking for now? I mean, that's an insane deal. So even a little under that is still insane. So like,
yeah, I don't think the Chiefs have that kind of money.
Yeah,
for Chris Jones.
I'm even thinking for us, like if we needed to sign somebody, notable, that's the price is up regardless on that position. So if they paying DN's QB money now, that's gonna be crazy because at some point we're gonna have to sign the DN some QB money because that'll be a good thing if we do. But
yeah.
But that deal still ain't do us no favors. I'll say that. But yeah, he definitely earned that. 18.5 sacks is ridiculous. Like, I mean, there's nothing you can really say.
Yeah,
he definitely earned that bread.
Yeah, the premier positions, what, in NFL or what? Quarterback, offensive line, pass rusher. So you gotta lock up your guy. I mean, if you let him go, you don't have any draft picks. If you trade him, that's the only way you do get draft picks. And you can draft a pass rusher. You can draft somebody that can get you 6 to 8 sacks, maybe 8 to 10 sacks. But you ain't just drafting anybody every day that's going to get you 18.5 sacks, can stop the run, is a defensive player of the year. That doesn't come across every first round, or second or third. Mm-hmm. So you got to lock up your guy. And, man, this market is reset. I know we talked about it beforehand, like Micah Parsons, has a year or two before it's his turn.
Yeah, they don't need to pay him early. Don't even wait. They need to pay that man right now.
Yeah. Man, who else is coming up? Hey, if Oweh breaks out this year, he's next too. He may not get
to. This is year 3. He's got to.
Yeah. And I don't know if it's Bosa money.
Need to break out though.
Well, you think about with Hassan Reddick in Philly, here's another year like he did last year.
Oh,
he could get paid.
Brian Burns, he's talking about his contract today. Yeah. So he was asking for 27 to 29 million. I think after today, he's going to want more than that. So, I mean, the market
got to go up, right? It's got to keep going.
So, and then when you look at what pass rushers are making, that this could also reset the quarterback market, especially the mid-tier, because the quarterback's going to say like, hey, those mid-tier guys, they're going to be like, hey, how's this pass rusher making more than me? I'm the guy that leads the team. Every play goes through me. This is
about
really
impact. It's the NFL saying it's about impact at this point, right?
Yeah, so it's like the market's going to increase on both tiers. So we're going to see a lot of guys with inflated deals over the next couple of years. Mm-hmm. But also the salary cap's going to go up because they got all these huge deals from Amazon and all these other places. So the NFL is swimming in money.
Yeah. I meant to mention though before we had to do our division predictions for this year. I don't know if you guys have heard. Apparently, Disney is having a dispute with I think Charter Cable or they do Spectrum.
Yeah,
Spectrum Cable. So apparently, there's an issue going on with Spectrum does not want to raise the fee that they're charging their cable providers. So Disney has decided we're blocking the U.S. Open. They blocked I think some college football games. And if this goes in this week, this next week, they're going to be blocking Monday Night Football on all Spectrum users. I think it says around 15 million subscribers who did the cable. This is potentially something to watch as far as an NFL fan, it's just a sports fan in general, because as these leagues negotiate these deals with these cable channels and even streaming services, what's starting to happen now that CBS has got Paramount and NBC's Peacock and Fox has got. I don't think Fox doesn't have a streaming service yet, but what's going to start happening is what they're going to be saying, well, the ESPN is like, fine, we'll just pull all our ESPN stuff from Spectrum and make everybody else still pay for it. Because right now, like all of us, I'm pretty sure what we do, we not only do we pay cable, we also pay for these subscription services on top of that. Mm-hmm. So these streaming services are now starting to say like, well, fine, we'll just pull our content off of these cable networks and just have people stream it through our streaming services. We'll do it by ourselves. We don't need cable. Problem with that is a lot of these NFL teams, NFL as a whole and NHL and NBA have made these deals with these cable networks, billions of dollars. If they got to renegotiate deals or deals go down, especially if these cable companies are not raising fees, that also means revenues coming down. It also means less salary money for these players. So it's a domino effect. That could be, we'll have to watch over the next year or two. These streaming services start trying to bully these cable networks. It could have directly affect fans, how they watch games. We could get blackouts. If, for example, if Paramount decides, hey, we don't like the way Fios or Comcast is not raising fees for our games, so we're going to pull it. And the only way you're going to watch the Ravens if you have Paramount Plus. And everybody's like, I didn't have to really pay for football games. Now I got to pay to watch Ravens. Like, I live here, but I got to pay to watch Ravens. Like, it can become an issue. So that's something definitely to watch. Watch that Disney Spectrum fight, because this could blow up real bad.
So Spectrum better do something, because if they block that Monday Night Football game,
they're going to look. I said that's going to be Spectrum and Spectrum's problem, because they block that game. All of a sudden,
that's a big chunk gone.
Yeah, they're gonna be mad at Spectrum and Disney. They've been mad at both of them. They're like, fine, look, if you guys don't want it, we'll move it to NBC.
So you know what's going to happen? They're going to funnel all them people to ESPN Plus, because they show Monday Night Football on ESPN Plus. That puts the money right back with ESPN, right back to the NFL. It's really going to make cable's going to be in such a tough spot, because they're going to shift all that money to the streaming services, because everybody connected with the NFL, like you said, minus Fox, who is actually developing theirs.
I'm pretty sure it's coming.
Yeah, they have the thing where you can like enter your cable provider, but they're going to have a paid service. So, we're probably 2 to 3 years away from that big battle that you're talking about
between cable.
Yeah.
So, all right, on our division predictions, real quick. So, the season's getting ready to start. We'll start with the AFC East real quick. I'm gonna pick right now. I'm gonna pick the Dolphins to win the division. I'll say why. I definitely don't trust Mac Jones and the Patriots. Bill Belichick, I think he's on a hot seat right now. They don't really have any. They have a lot of castaways on that team right now. Like outside of Ramondre Stevenson, you got Juju there, but again, they don't really have anybody that wows me there. The Jets. The only reason I'm not picking the Jets because I think there's a lot of hype on this team a little too early. I get it. Like Aaron Rodgers is the guy. He's a 2-time MVP. But let's remember the last few years that Aaron Rodgers was in Green Bay, they haven't looked like themselves. They've given him everything he's wanted there. He's got what's his name? The wide receiver.
Scouting.
Is it Valdez Scantling that's there?
Yeah.
Now you got Alan Lazard there as well.
Yeah.
He's got I'm interested to see what he does with Garrett Wilson. You got Breece Hall. You got Dalvin Cook. The defense is really good. However, you got this kind of hype this early on in the season. It's the Jets. I got to wait and see. I think the Dolphins. I'll say let's start with the Bills. The Bills, they had a lot of turmoil at the end of the season. The last image we saw of Stephon Diggs yelling at Josh Allen on the sideline. And it hasn't really been that chipper in preseason either, like in training camp. Like they said there's been some issues, and guys just seem like, Von Miller's out for the first 4 or 5 weeks. He's still recovering from his injury. I just feel like the Bills may have missed that window. Like I think Josh Allen's a good quarterback. Don't get me wrong, but I think what we saw the end of last season is a little bit of that frustration. I think some of those guys have expected to be at least in a Super Bowl by now. Like they've expected at least been in a Super Bowl by now, and they haven't gotten there. And now that the Jets have, gotten Aaron Rodgers, it's gonna make it a little bit more difficult. I'm gonna pick the Dolphins because no one's really paying attention to the Dolphins right now. I think Tua, with his concussion issues and brain, he did add like 20 pounds apparently of weight to try to negate him getting knocked around so much. Losing Jalen Ramsey for most of the season definitely going to hurt them on defense. But they had a good defense before him. So they had a good defense last year. They still got Wallace, still got Tyreek Hill. Jeff Wilson Jr., I think, is on IR right now, but he'll be back, I think, by week 4, week 5. You got Raheem Morris. They got a lot of speed. Downs is a really good, I think, he can dial up really well. I think he learned some lessons from the end of the year last year as being a first-time head coach. So I think everybody's going to be focusing on the Bills and the Jets. And I feel like the Dolphins are that team that's just going to wiggle their way past everyone. It's going to be real close, but I think the Dolphins wiggle their way to the first place. AFC East.
Yeah, I think for the AFC East, I still got the Bills winning that division. Actually, I think I know it didn't end the best for the Bills, but I do think they still have a solid squad. Maybe at running back they can be stronger, but I just think that Josh Allen can kind of take them further than the rest of the quarterbacks in this division. I'm not including Aaron Rodgers in it because obviously that'll be his first year playing with the Jets. But I think him with his team, he still got the weapons on his side as far as receivers and things like that, and he's still a threat with his legs. I just think they'll just be built further, in the longer run than what the Dolphins are. I do have the Dolphins at 2. I do got them at 2. Only reason I have them at 2 and not 1 is because I'm still not sold on this Tua situation. I think the fact that it can only pretty much take one concussion this season that could possibly knock him out. I think that's something that we just got to look at. Like you just don't know. And as these games get more and more significant, I feel like down the clutch of the season, I think I don't know. I just don't have the faith that he's gonna be able to finish the year out based on how last year went. So that's why I have them at 2, because I think he does play probably at least majority of the year for them to still be ranked second, but I think he's not going to finish out the year. And then I have the Jets coming in 3rd, because I do think the Jets are going to be a formidable competitor in this division for sure. I think it's just going to be really, really close between them and the Dolphins. But by being, Aaron Rodgers' first year, he's bringing over some of the same receiver weapons and things like that. I don't know if it's just going to translate over to the Jets. I think they'll have a tougher time even just outside of this division than the other teams. So I have them at 3rd. I'm gonna have the Patriots last just because I haven't believed in them since Tom Brady left, to be honest. So until they show me something different, they're still going to be last.
Yeah, this is a tough one for me. I'm going with the Jets. I know the hype machine is all around them. But yeah, I have 2 on my fantasy football team, but I'm not sold on him bringing them victories. I can see them putting up stats. I mean, they have weapons, but I just don't think they have it all together as a team yet. And I am not completely sold on Mike McDaniels as a head coach. I mean, he's a great play caller, offensive schemer, but we saw some stupidity in the playoffs last year that was very egregious, and it made me really question his competency as a head coach and manager of tough football games. New England, no. And then Buffalo, Buffalo, I just think they have too much drama. I think what we're going to see is that trade request from Stephon Diggs come on through. He's going to be a big trade deadline name. And I think, Buffalo may be comfortable letting him go the more, the chirping begins. And if he doesn't get off to a strong start, it's going to get bigger. And I think they're really comfortable with Gabe Davis. Granted, I don't think Gabe Davis is Stephon Diggs, but that doesn't mean that front office doesn't think that. So I think the Bills have a little bit of drama, and I'm not sure how that's going to play out in the season. So I'm rolling here with the Jets. Jets, Jets.
All right. So everybody's got a different one. So that's
You ain't have to do that, Travis. You ain't have to do that.
Hey, man, I just want to be cool like y'all.
The next one, AFC South, Jaguars. There's consensus, Jaguars. I mean, Houston, Texas got a rookie quarterback. Colts got a rookie quarterback. Titans, Tannehill might not even be starting quarterback by week 8. Like,
I'm rolling with the Jags. I think I'm rolling with the Jags.
Nice to talk about this. Like,
let's just throw it up. Jags.
Yeah, Jags. Okay.
Calvin Ridley, comeback player of the year.
Yeah. That's crazy. They're getting Ridley back, man. That's what's crazy. How good that offense was last year, and they're getting Ridley back. Yeah. And if Etienne is like 100% this year, man,
you better stay off that FanDuel this year, though.
Yeah.
Right. I'm trying to make bets already, man. Making future bets already.
Right.
AFC West. So I mean, Chiefs win. I'll take that, but I think obviously they're starting off a little bit behind the 8 ball with Chris Jones, and who knows when he's going to play at this point, if he even sits out the whole season. Travis Kelce, hyperextended knee. I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. So I think the Chiefs obviously win the division. Now, Garoppolo starting with the Raiders there. Josh McDaniels. Is McDaniels the head coach now with them, with the Raiders? So, I mean, he gets his guy that he wanted. He was potentially going to coach in New England, with Belichick. So he gets him there. You got Devontae Adams. However, Josh McDaniels in his previous stints was just not good. Chargers, again, I feel like it's between the Raiders and the Chargers for second place, and somebody's going to fall into second place only because one of them is going to make a mistake. And Brandon Staley, look, as good as Herbert is, and he got paid this offseason, look, Keenan Allen's been dealing with some injuries the last couple of years. Mike Williams got a bad back. Austin Eckler isn't happy with his contract situation. I mean, he's there kind of playing begrudgingly now. The Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa thing has not panned out as what they hoped. Even Derwin James being safety, like he's as good as highly touted as he was coming into the league. He was hurt and he hasn't really been an impact player that they had kind of expected him to. I kind of think the Chargers look, Herbert, I think, will keep them in games a lot, but a lot of it depends on who he's throwing the ball to at this point, to be honest with you. And I think there's a lot of guys on that team, whether it be injury or just contract situations, that seem to be whatever. So I'm actually going to put the Raiders here in second place for the AFC West and the Chargers in third.
Okay. I'm going with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to win this division. I do have the Chargers in second, actually. I'm just not sure what this Raiders squad is going to look like. I have some pieces that are there that I still like, obviously, but I'm just more unsure. I mean, Chargers, obviously, with the injury concerns, with a few of the players, that's always going to be a thing. But if they stay healthy, I think I do have them finishing out second. It's kind of not fair what I did to the Dolphins, because I said pretty much I don't think Tua is going to stay healthy, but I think the situation is a little bit different. But I do have I got the Chiefs, I got the Chargers, I have the Raiders, and poor Russell. I think he plays better, but I don't know. I just don't see it. I don't see the Broncos riding very far this year. So I got them last.
I'm with you. Put them in last place. They're just going to score more points. That's all. Like, they're going to score more points. But, I mean, to be honest, I don't think Sean Payton's doing himself any favors so far. He's just been really wild with the comments, the demeanor. And I just don't know what that looks like coming into this team. I don't know if he's winning over the team. I could be totally wrong. But I don't think Russell Wilson is a Sean Payton quarterback. I just don't. Like, I mean, he had Drew Brees, who, he may have kissed a couple babies or whatever, but he was a fiery, tough guy. And I don't see that with Russ. Russ is like a politician. He's just out there being a good guy, keeping a clean image. I don't think he's a leader of men. I've never thought that. I don't think he's a leader of men. And I think that's going to clash with Peyton. But I also think they're just not going to be that good. So Broncos last place, Raiders in third place. Quarterback. I don't think Garoppolo is going to play too well. I don't think Josh McDaniels is a competent head coach. I don't have anything else to say there. Chargers, all the talent in the world. They got a great receiving core, incompetent head coach. I think Herbert, he chokes in big games. Yeah, second place. Chiefs, this could change depending on this Kelsey diagnosis. They're claiming his ACL is intact. I have doubts. We'll find out the truth on the next episode. But I still have them in first place. I think, with this division, Mahomes can still make it work with or without Kelsey. He probably just won't win a Super Bowl without Kelsey. So Chiefs, first place.
Okay. All right, we'll start with the NFC West real quick. This is a two-team race, to be honest with you. 49ers, Seahawks. Brock Purdy coming off of UCL. That's going to be interesting to see. I think they said he's ready to go. Said it seems like he's ready to go. How that holds up this year, because similar to what pitchers get in baseball when they get Tommy John surgery to repair that tendon. So we'll see. They got the same squad. You got Debo, you got Brandon Ayuk, you signed Nick Bosa to a huge contract. You got Fred Warner. Like, they got the usual suspects. You got Kyle Shanahan calling the plays. They're pretty good. Now, the real test is going to be, I think this will be Brock Purdy's first full season as the 49ers quarterback. He's not going to take anybody by surprise this year. They got film on him. I guarantee everybody in the NFC West has been watching it and all over the league. So we'll see, how, if Kyle Shanahan really has, his Tom Brady, sixth late round draft pick that he turns into, a Pro Bowl quarterback. So we'll see there. Now the Seahawks and Geno Smith. Now look, Geno had a best year of his career last year. Got a really good, deal for him. You're bringing in Jigba. You got DK Metcalf still there. Kenneth Walker and, those guys, they haven't been healthy. His running backs haven't been healthy. Hopefully they are this year. They have a pretty decent defense. Again, it's a two-team race, but I just think right now, if Brock Purdy plays the way he did last year, the 49ers run away with this division easy. If he stumbles a bit, the Seahawks could take this away from the 49ers. They could. If Brock Purdy stumbles a little bit or he gets hurt.
Yeah, I think I think the 49ers take this division. I think that it's crucial that they're going to get a full year with Brock Purdy. Granted, he stays healthy. I think they're going to not run away with this division. I think it's going to be neck and neck with Seattle, to be honest. I haven't really heard any noise coming out of Seattle in the offseason, but, if they play just as good as they played last year, then I feel like they're still going to be right there with them. I think the Niners might not look as great, but they'll still look just a tad bit better than Seattle. So I got the 49ers winning that division. I got Seattle coming up, competing with them right behind them. Both these teams could possibly make the playoffs. So I do have 49ers in first, but I have Seattle as a strong second. And I do have the Rams finishing third and the Cardinals finishing dead last. And probably not just in that division.
The last period. Right?
Yeah.
All right. I got Seattle taking this division with the caveat that Jamal Adams comes back. Seattle has really invested into this team. And I feel like they're in a state where they're like, maybe we could win now. And they're my sleeper team for the year. Even though they went 9-8 last year, they're my sleeper team. And I'll say this. They added who I think is the second best receiver in this draft behind Zay Flowers and Jackson Smith from Ohio State. And he's playing with my guy DK and Tyler Lockett. And I think he's going to be great out of that slot. They've been raving about him. They've invested into the cornerback position, the pass rush position. invested into the offensive line, added another running back. Jamal Adams should be coming back at some point. I think this is a dangerous team. And they kept the passing game coordinator who's really helping Geno. So I think this team is a sleeper team to make it to the NFC Championship game. I could be totally wrong, but I'm riding with it. I think they take this division. I just don't think Brock Purdy year 2 is going to do what he did at the end of last year. And then I don't know how I feel about the receiving core, specifically Deebo Samuel, when he took a huge step back last year. So Seattle taking it.
Okay. All right. NFC South might be the worst division in football this year. Flip a coin. I mean, you got the Falcons, the Panthers. You got Desmond Ritter's going to be starting there at quarterback. You got Bryce Young at Carolina, who they've already said is – look, he's a rookie. Like, it may take him a couple of years, but he hasn't been great. I mean, I think they got Adam Thielen's there now. He lost, obviously, DJ Moore. Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield. Mike Evans already said he wants out. He said, unless I get like stupid money, I don't want to be here. The Saints, I mean, Alvin Kamara, I think he's past his prime now at this point. He's not the same guy anymore. Is Michael Thomas gonna play? Is he? The man hasn't played in like 3 years. They got Chris Olave. I mean, they do have him. Don't get me wrong. I think by default, the Saints just take it because they have a really good defense. You still got, is it Cameron Jordan there on that defense? Like, they still have a really good defense. Dennis Allen is their head coach, a defensive guy. And a defense will be good. I don't know if all good the offense will be, but I just think the other 3 teams' offenses are just that bad that the defense for the Saints just gives them that edge. So I'm going to pick the Saints. I'll pick the Saints first place, Atlanta second, Carolina third, Tampa Bay last.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm actually not sure. I'm gonna hate watching this division this year. Any game they come on TV, I'm just not. I'm
turn it off.
Watch it.
Whatever Thursday night game this division's on, I'm not watching it.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough. But yeah, I think I got this. I guess I got the Saints. I did kind of like how the Panthers finished off last year. Do they still have who's their QB right now?
Bryce Young.
Bryce Young.
And he hasn't looked good.
Yeah, he hasn't wowed anybody. They were raving about him when he got drafted, but now that he's been in camp, they were like,
this is tough. But I'm gonna go Saints. I'm actually gonna go Saints. You know what? I might go Bucks. I might just go Bucks. I'm gonna go Bucks, Saints, Atlanta, Carolina. And the reasoning is who knows what the reasoning is, but I just feel like I just feel like I don't really have faith in any of these teams, but I feel like I just feel like with Mike Evans and those guys over there, I can just see them winning more games in general over in Tampa Bay. Even though they're not going to be the team that they were, they've still been there. So I just feel like just that alone is going to get them through on this division at least. So I would say Bucks, Saints, Atlanta, Drake London and those guys, and then Carolina.
I got Atlanta winning the division. They had the best offense in this division last year, and they got better. They got rid of my man Mariota. Desmond Ridder is going to be the quarterback. He's looked good so far. Bijan Robinson is the best overall weapon in the draft. Mm-hmm. So I think this team got better offensively, and they're already the best offense in this division. They've upgraded defensively. They got Calais Campbell. They added Bud Dupree. They added Jeff Okudah, and they added Jesse Bates from the Bengals. So they've invested into this defense. I don't think it's going to be a top 10 defense, but it's not going to be the bottom defense that it was last year. So I have Atlanta taking this division. I think Jameis Winston, as long as he's your starting quarterback, it's not going to happen for the Saints. They're just going to have a good defense. Alvin Kamara suspended.
Starting, I think. Derek Carr starting.
Oh, Derek Carr. I'm sorry. Yeah, Derek Carr. Yeah, same thing. I don't think he's going to take you to that division title. But Alvin Kamara suspended. I don't know what the receiving core looks like outside of was it Chris Olave? I don't know how to say his last name.
Olave, yeah.
Olave. So I don't know what that looks like. Tampa Bay, they're a cluster. And then lastly, Carolina. Yeah, they can't protect Bryce Young. So he looked bad, but he probably looked a little bit better with offensive line. Offensive line looks terrible. Their defense is getting older. They moved Jeremy Chin, the linebacker. I think that's going to be a fail. I don't think they got rid of their best weapon, their best two weapons in DJ Moore and Chris McCaffrey over the past year. They're going to regress. They're going to be picking in the top 3 again next year. So what did I say? Atlanta, New Orleans, Tampa Bay, Carolina.
I do like that Atlanta pick after you put all those facts. I did not know about half of those.
Yeah,
I completely forgot about the running back.
And remember they still got Algiers from last year. They did draft.
Yeah, I completely
and
forgot.
Cordero Patterson.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay.
I think Mariota just left a bad taste in my mouth, and I was just even though he's gone,
they got Ritter now.
That's what had me thinking about.
Yeah.
NFC North. This was a little bit one of the more competitive divisions, I think, in the NFL this year. Packers are starting Jordan Love, obviously. They still got Aaron Jones there. You got Christian Watson, who came on last year towards the end, played well. They still have a pretty good defense. They still got my guy over there, Jair Alexander. So the Lions, they got better. They still got Aiden Hutchinson there. Jared Goff is coming back after a good year. Jameson Williams, I think, he's out. Is he out for the first few weeks because of the betting stuff, I think? Yeah. So he was betting in the team facility, but he will another season where he's going to miss like 4 or 5 games, but he'll be out there at some point. They did draft Gibbs, Jahmyr Gibbs, at running back now, obviously letting go of DeAndre Swift. The Bears, Justin Fields, they got DJ Moore there now. A lot of it's going to really depend on how Fields progresses, to be honest with the Bears. If Justin Fields can take the next step, this Bears team could be really competitive. Not going to see them necessarily being playoff team, but they can be competitive this year. And the Vikings, look, the same old, let Delvin Cook go, but they barely use them. So they got Madison back there now. Still got the best wide receiver in football, Justin Jefferson, who probably is going to get 2,000 yards receiving this year. You got TJ Hawkinson, who they just paid. Not TJ, that's the Detroit Lions. They just paid all that money. The defense for the Vikings, though, last year was bad, and they didn't get better in the whole season.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick to win this division. I'm gonna pick the Green Bay Packers to win this division this year. I would say the Lions, but I think they surprised a lot of people last year. Not a lot of people took them seriously. They got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I think they got a lot of guys that played well for their first time. Jared Goff, Aiden Hudson being a rookie, Amon-Ra St. Brown. They got a rookie running back. They had a lot of guys play well their first time. Can they do it again next year? I think that we are going to see Matt LaFleur in Green Bay actually coach this time without Aaron Rodgers being there. So he can install his offense. From what I've heard from out of Green Bay, like he's been good in training camp. They haven't had any issues. They looks poised out there. Doesn't even know what he's doing. He's another guy that's been sitting for 3 years. Is what Green Bay does with their quarterback. So they're not hitting the panic button in Green Bay, and I think that playing Lambeau Field still carries a lot of weight there, and I think that the Aaron Rodgers stuff was just weighing on the city, weighing on the franchise for the last 2 years. The cloud that he was bringing over there with his ayahuasca, blowing that smoke over there, I think that the Aaron Rodgers stuff is done. They can start over now and start fresh. And I think that I still think it'll be very competitive. Don't get me wrong, but I think the Packers edge this one out, win this division.
Yeah, this is kind of a tough one for me. I do think the Vikings. I don't really see. I don't know why I'm starting at the bottom of the list, but I think the Vikings. I think they're going to be better than the Bears, but I don't think I think the top 2 teams will be the Lions and the Packers. I'm going to give the top team actually to the Lions. I think they're going to have a really, really good year. They are missing a couple players because of that betting stuff, but we'll kind of see how that plays out in the first few weeks. as far as if it truly matters or not. But I think the Lions are going to be one. I think the Packers, it's still a major change. I mean, they have their system over there, but their first year without Rodgers is just going to look way different to me. And I think maybe next year they're going to probably be a little bit better, coming to their own of what they're probably going to look like going forward. But I just don't see them competing to win the division. I do think they will come in a close second. I think the Vikings will be third. And I really don't see how Justin Fields is going to be that much better, even though he has weapons. But, I could be wrong really, really early on in the season because, we'll kind of see right away. But I don't think the upgrades they made is enough to make Justin. I don't think there's much you can do to make him that much better. I just never saw him as that pure QB that can kind of get your team to where it needs to be from the beginning. So I was never really high on Justin Fields, even in the games that he played well. It just he hasn't really shown me anything. So I still had the Bears last. So I have the Lions winning division. I got the Packers coming in a close second. The Vikings going to be tight with, I think it's going to be the Packers and the Vikings kind of duking it out for the second spot, and then the Bears finishing last.
Okay. All right, I'll make it quick. Detroit, more weapons through the draft. Defense got better. Second year in the defense. I think Aaron Glenn is a great defensive coordinator. Got them taking the division. I have Minnesota coming in number 2. I think Kirk Cousins steps up because his job is on the line. Justin Fields, I think, will take another step, not a Pro Bowl step, but another step. I think he's helped by the offensive line improvements in DJ Moore. I think the Bears are going to be like a fringe team. I think Green Bay's in last place. They'll have a tough defense, and they'll make it tough for teams. But offensively, there's really nothing there. I don't think Jordan Love is that guy. I don't think Aaron Jones can carry that team by himself. I don't think Christian Watson is a number 1 receiver. I just don't see it for Green Bay.
All right, NFC East. This one's going to be a little bit tough. The Eagles won it last year. NFC East is notorious for not having the same winner win the division. They swap out every single year. Cowboys, they got Stephon Gilmore, as a cornerback now. Mike McCarthy has officially taken over play calling duties now because what's his name? Kellen Moore is gone. I think he's in Vegas or he's in San Diego now. I think he's in San Diego. He still got Trayvon Diggs. He's got Micah Parsons. The Cowboys on paper should be in a Super Bowl on paper. However, Dak Prescott, 15 interceptions in 12 games last year. I would have to assume at this point, if he gets hurt again, since he's gotten hurt, he's been hurt now the last few years. The Giants, Daniel Jones. I don't trust Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is a mid-level quarterback. Saquon Barkley, look, he's a home run hitter. Don't get me wrong, but he's not a guy that's going to grind out 4 or 5 yards per carry. He's going to be a guy that's going to get stuffed for 1 or 2 yards and then break a 60-yard run. He does that every week. At some point in the game, he's going to break one of those runs. Wide receiver-wise, don't really see anything for them. Defense are pretty decent. They were good last year. They coached well by Dayball, so he can bring a lot out of that team. Washington Commanders, Sam Howell starting their rookie quarterback. I do like Brian Robinson there, running back for there. They got a really good receiving core, John Dodson and Terry McLaurin. The defense has got to take that step back. They got to look like they were 3 years ago. Chase Young and Jonathan Allen and those boys and Sweat, and they got to get back to where they were 3 years ago. I'm gonna stop. I'm saying the Eagles for right now, just because Jalen Hurts, I think, is that guy. I think that they did get better. They got Jordan Davis there in the defense. I think he's going to create a lot of problems for a lot of offensive lines. Whoever they play this year, they were able to bring back Bradbury. They brought back Darius Slay. They got Hassan Reddick back. So I'm like, they're going to be. I think they're going to be good. So the Eagles are first place. I'm going to say the Cowboys second. I think the Washington Commanders will finish third. I think the offense is going to be pretty good. I think with Bieniemy there, and I think the Giants will finish last, just because I think Dayball's a good head coach, but I just don't think that with the Commanders getting better and everybody else getting better in the division, I think they're going to finish in last place.
Yeah, that's your picks. That's exactly how I had it, Miles. I mean, Eagles won last year. That division, they're going to win that division again this year. I don't think it's going to be as close this year. Their locker room. I mean, they got one of the best locker rooms in the league. I mean, everyone's pretty much coming back. The All-Stars are coming back. The chemistry on that team is just phenomenal. I mean, you can tell just the way they play that they're in sync just throughout the season, on and off the field. They play hard for their coach. There's just no reason why they shouldn't win this division again. The Cowboys, I do have them in a close, not a close second, but I have them in second, probably close with whoever's going to be in third at the Cowboys second, just because I don't have full faith in Dak Prescott. I mean, that's really the main reason. And even outside of that, I mean, they haven't shown me that they'll be, that they're better than the Eagles in any way. So there's no reason why I think their record is going to be better. Dak is just, to me, not there. He's borderline on a bubble, but as far as I'm concerned. So I don't have I have the Cowboys second still. With that being said, I do think they're still going to be in the playoff picture, especially in the NFC. Then I do have the Commanders coming in third as well. I just feel like, new energy, new ownership. QB didn't look half bad. I mean, they were playing their hardest in that preseason game against us, but I mean, it's still some takeaway that you can take away from what we saw. I do think Chase Young, he takes a step up. I don't think he has a choice but to take a step up this year. I mean, for what they drafted him to be, I think this year he's going to kind of show a lot of that dominance that he has. And the Giants, I mean, they just look like more of the same. I mean, they look good at last year, as far as what their expectations were and what they actually achieved, but they haven't shown me that they've gotten better. So I'm gonna go put them last because everybody else, they pretty much kind of solidify where they are. I just don't think the Giants have made any changes significant enough for me to care. I mean, Saquon is their best player, but you can't win games necessarily at running back, not the Giants.
Yeah. So this is how it looks like for me. I think it's going to be a tight division. A bunch of 8-8, 9-7s, 10-7s. 9-8s. You get what I'm saying. So I think it's going to be this. Washington. It's going to look like it did last year. Washington is going to come up in the rear. 9-8 team. I think they're just as good talent wise. I think there's going to be a power struggle with the head coach and the offensive coordinator. The Giants, I think, are going to be a little bit better, so they may be better in the playoffs if they make it. But I just think Daniel Jones is not a championship QB. Dallas, I think, is going to be a lot better, but they'll falter in the playoffs. Philly, they're going to run it back. They're going to be a contending team, and they're going to take this division.
All right. Before we get out here, we got to do, of course, Ravens-Texans preview. Now, of what we've heard, Mark Andrews is dealing with some issue and questionable for this game on Sunday. Now, however, it's the Texans. Okay. Now, look, maybe I'm taking it a little too easy, too light because it's the Texans. DeMeco Ryans is a rookie head coach. They have rookie quarterback. They did play it hard last year. Like, they played tough towards the end of the season, especially when they played the Eagles in that game towards the end of the season. Like, they play tough. They got a decent running back, and it was Dameon Pierce. But I think the Ravens, with the energy they're coming out with this week, Odell Beckham, Lamar Jackson getting paid. Like, I think there's a new, like we've said about other teams, like there's the energy in this locker room now is a lot different than it was last year. I think with Greg Roman there's a lot of same old kind of stuff going through the motions. But I think Todd Monken has got these guys excited about what this offense could potentially be. You got Zay Flowers playing in his first NFL football game, really can show what he's going to be able to do. So even if Mark doesn't play, they still got Kolar. You still got Likely. They said you can still use Nelson Aguilar out there and Devin Duvernay and Wallace if you need to put another receiver out there. There's going to be a lot of stuff. And, we get caught on the defensive side. Ajabo's going to be playing in his first full season now. Kyle Hamilton, after another good preseason, good finish in Atlanta last year, is going to look really good. I mean, interesting to see what that secondary is those cornerbacks going to look like for this game. I think because it's C.J. Stroud and he wasn't highly touted coming out of college, they had some question marks around him. He doesn't really have an offensive-minded head coach there in Houston. He's definitely going to struggle a little bit. I think the Ravens are going to get after him. I think that McDonald is definitely going to blitz a lot. He's going to probably send Kyle. He'll probably send maybe put Geno Stone in some packages as well. Like they're going to be sending Patrick Queen and Roquan. They're going to be doing all kinds of things, I think, to mess with him. And so C.J. Stroud. But I think in this game, we might. I think we're going to see in the first half the Ravens try to start fast. I think they're going to try to put away the Texans early. I think we're going to see a very speedy offense. I think it's going to blow our minds, to be honest with you. I think it's going to be like, we haven't seen this. Even in 2019 with the Greg Roman offense, I think we're going to see some stuff in this offense, some reverses, some bubble screens, some slant routes and fades and all kinds of stuff, back shoulder throws. In this, I think in this first half, we're going to be like, man, this Ravens offense is going to be dangerous, man. And I think a lot of they're going to put, even though, again, it's against the Texans, this Ravens offense is going to get on ESPN. There's some highlights, I think, in this game for sure. So I'll predict in this game, I think the Ravens put up 35 easy in this game, maybe even 40. I think the Texans may put up, 7. I mean, they get 7 or 10 late, defense. They take Lamar out, they rest him a little bit, and they kind of, game's over. But I think 40 to 10. I'll say 40 to 10 for Ravens.
Nice. I hope that happens. I have similar sentiments about this game. I'm just excited to see the playbook. Honestly, I mean, we've all been kind of waiting to see what this offense is going to look like. And even in this game, I don't think he's going to open that playbook all the way. Only if needed. So I'm sure they don't want to show their hand for the Bengals coming up the week after. But not to look past this week, but I do think that we're going to have a solid win. We're going to learn a lot about this team, about where they're really at in this game. I'm super excited because it's week 1, and we know that Lamar Jackson is like a week 1 like monster. Like he goes crazy in week 1 historically over his past 5 or 6 years. So I think our receivers are going to put on a show. I don't even think Odell is going to finish the game. He'll probably go off and they'll probably sit him down because he probably won't be needed. I think that Bateman is probably going to show up. I mean, we all expect Zay to do some things, but I think Bateman is going to show you guys or show everybody that he's back and he's healthy, and just to remind everybody why he was drafted here. So I think our receivers are going to fare well. I think that's what everyone's kind of mostly excited to see, just to see what this offense does. The Titans are going to do what the Titans do. No surprise there. I do want to see how this offensive line holds up against the Texans, because that's kind of one of our points where we're kind of like unsure. We're sure, but we're kind of unsure about what we're getting. And on the defensive side of the ball, even though we have our concerns at cornerback with Marlon being out, just interested to see what we got with Rock Ya-Sin and what we got with Ronald Darby, because we don't really know what we got. So that'll be interesting to kind of see where we're at and kind of assess that. But I'm looking forward to that. And I'm excited to see Marcus Williams starting off the season healthy. Hopefully he remains healthy the whole year. And Kyle Hamilton. I think I'm most excited on defense probably to see Kyle Hamilton, because he's just going to have free reign back there to do what he do. And I think he's going to be one of those Pro Bowl players, that's going to be elected from our team. I think Kyle Hamilton's on the top of that list, along with obviously some of the obvious ones, with Lamar and everything. So that's probably what I'm most excited to see. I think the game's going to be pretty one-sided. We are going to win handily. I'm guessing I'll go like 35 to 9 as a final score. And I don't even think our starters finish this game. I think Lamar's going to go out there, put up all the points he can, and go ahead and head to the showers the fourth quarter.
I think this is a blowout. I'm really excited to see what this offense looks like. I think we strike early, and then I think the gas pedal comes off a little bit in the second half. So I'm putting us at around 35, 36 points, kind of like Trey. I think the defense shows out. I think we get an Oweh sighting not an almost away, but a
Then
full
almost
away.
away, a full away,
A full away. 1.0, not 0.5.
right?
But I think the defense plays well. I think this is a relatively easy game. I think, man, Trey, you kind of have where I was thinking. Like I had like 36, 35, 10, somewhere around that range. We may give up a touchdown and a field goal. So I think the game kind of goes like that. I think Lamar looks good. I'm not expecting our running game to look great. It hasn't looked great so far, and I know it's going to take a while for that to get going. So, but I think passing wise, we're going to be on the money. I think Zay's going to look great. I think Odell makes a couple plays. Bateman will make a play. So I think we're pretty solid. 36-10. I'll go with that.
Yeah, I'm interested to see with JK, how he looks, because we saw, remember, after he got the knee scope done last year, he kind of had that burst back, but wasn't 100%. Now that he's had a full off season, I'm interested to see if JK if he breaks something and he just goes. I'm gonna say where that speed. If that speed is like 100%, that's gonna be interesting to watch. And same thing like you said, Trey, with Kyle. I think Kyle's Pro Bowler this year. If he takes the steps that he took those last few games and really is like confident in his game this year and actually starts being more aggressive in plays and stuff like that, I think he could potentially be a Pro Bowler for this team. You think about having, Marcus Williams back there, who's already a Pro Bowler, and then having another Pro Bowler and a strong safety like that could work. I'm hoping with all the work they've been doing, Ajabo and Adafe have been doing in the offseason, and Adafe's working on his power rush moves, and Ajabo's, we've seen him out there, haven't really seen much anything. Maybe when the season starts, things are different. We'll hope to see. But if each of them can get 7 or 8 sacks a piece, I think that would, you're going to have Queen and Roquan and those guys and get stuff too. But I'm hoping, and I think Broderick Washington and those guys will be able to do stuff in the middle as well. But if Adafe and Ajabo can get 8 or 9 sacks a piece, 7 or 8 sacks, I think that'd be solid. So, all right. I think that's it for today. Everybody be safe if you're heading to the game, be safe. Watching the game, don't drink too much beer, or whatever liquor you're drinking that day. Don't eat too many nachos, don't eat many pretzels, chicken wings. This is my favorite time of year. It's my favorite foods. My favorite foods, pop around this time of year. So can't wait. So we got you. Thank you guys for listening. We'll catch you guys next week, hopefully after our Ravens win. Start 1-0. All right. Peace.
Peace.